Welcome to another episode of Unfiltered. This is the week of July 8th, and I am back in the saddle. Man, I'm gonna tell you, what a week. I have had the worst week ever. Ever. I know a lot of you are going, yeah, Rick, you just had eye surgery. Yeah, but it was worse than that. I thought, it was one of these deals. He's got to go in, he's a beep, beep, picks up the eye, and I'd be back, patch over my eye, running around doing all the crap I usually do the next day, or maybe the day after that. Oh, no. No. Doc said, face down for 7 days, which means that it was either sitting up like this, walking around like this, leaning on a table like that, or laying on my stomach, and I rigged up an ingenious thing. I had a couple people offer me massage tables because they've got the hole for your face to fit into. And most massage tables, I believe, are fairly high. And I didn't want to be up that high just in case, I didn't want to fall off the thing and break a hip or something, because apparently now with eye surgery, I'm old. So now I worry about breaking a hip. So I rigged up a low table at the end, at the foot of my bed. And I put one of those foam ass cushions on it, lay on my stomach with my face in that pillow, and just, it's like isolation. TV's no good because you can't see what's going on. And I, for like the last day, I thought, geez, I should figure out my TV remote control and use that vision impaired setting on the TV where they describe to you what's going on. And I've hit it accidentally, and all of a sudden I would hear a voice saying, so-and-so is walking into a dark and foggy graveyard. I'm like, really? Is that part of the show? But apparently it's part of this system that they have. But I didn't use that. I just kind of put on sitcoms and laid in that pillow. And again, like total isolation. I lost track of time, lost track of space. I barely felt like smoking any weed. So tried, and you can't watch the news. The big news this week was the kids in Taiwan. I think it was Taiwan. Again, shows how much I've been paying attention all week. Going down into that cave and getting stranded in that cave with their coach. And as of this morning, I believe, everybody was out. Although it did cost the life of one, I believe, a Taiwanese special forces officer or guy that was a diver. And again, we thank him immensely for his service. So face down, 7 days. Went yesterday. I went and had my 1 week post-op visit over in Manchester with my doc, Dr. Fazalot. He informed me that he was OCD, which I guess if you want a surgeon, you want somebody who's at least a little bit OCD. Although I wonder if it took him very long he said there were 2 sutures in my eye that'll dissolve, and I wonder if, he took extra pains to make sure that they were, exactly alike. Or if he stopped 100 times during my operation and washed his hands, if it's that kind of OCD. Either way, he's a pretty good guy. I think he knows what he's talking about. Went in yesterday for my post-op, and he says it's kind of cloudy. He says what they did is they take, I had a detached retina, and and a tear, from what he says, a huge tear. And I don't know how it happened. It's just, it happens as you get older. Your body breaks down. We're not meant to live to be 150 years old. Sorry. So there's a big tear, then it pulls the retina, the eyeball fluid gets back in behind it and pulls it away from the retina. Or it pulls the retina away from the back wall of the eyeball. So they take out all that fluid that has gotten behind the retina and they press it back and they laser up, you know, the tear, and they seat it all in where it's supposed to be and laser all around it to seal it all in there. And then they put a little gas bubble inside the eye. That's what my little fancy green bracelet says. It says, warning, eye bubble in the gas bubble in the eye. Don't use nitrous oxide or any change in atmospheric pressure may cause an increase in eyeball pressure resulting in blindness. So yeah, I can't fly for a while. I can't, and I was told it's a 2-week bubble. It'll eventually go away, and the vitreous humor is what it's called. The eyeball fluid in there will regenerate itself, and everything will be good. But he said yesterday that apparently on a natural, shall we say, factory installed eyeball lens, you know, original parts, this gas bubble tends to make cataracts blossom. And that's what happened. So a week from today, I have to go back over to Manchester and have a consultation with a cataract specialist. And it looks like cataract surgery within 2 weeks, probably. But I'm told that that's a piece of cake after this retina thing. And no, I had a good joke I was going to use. The hospital over there where they did the surgery, Elliott, it was Elliott one-day surgical unit. And they took me in, they prepped me. They kept asking me, you know, every person that I saw, basically, listen to my heart, listen to my lungs, asked me all kinds of questions. They asked me what I was there to have done. They got me in the little gown, you know, which I thought was kind of weird because they're operating on my eye, but they made me take off. She said, take off all your clothes and put the gown on. And I said, even my underwear? And she said, yeah, even your underwear. And she said, you can leave your socks on. And so I don't understand that. But yet when I came to, I was all fully dressed. So it's weird. I had the general anesthesia where they plugged me into the IV, and it was a Ringer's lactate IV, which the nurse told me is like Gatorade in a bottle, Gatorade in a bag that comes in through your veins. And apparently they don't shave the spot where they're going to put the IV needles anymore because it's some kind of a hazard for scraping off the top layer of skin or something. But they put the IV in me, and I don't know, half an hour later, the anesthesiologist guy comes in and he talks to me, and we go through the whole same little dance about, you know, why are you here, blah, blah, blah. And the nurse put a little dot over the eye that was getting the operation. And so the anesthesiologist came in, he wanted to check my weight, you know, he asked me, you know, how tall are you? And they had weighed me when I came in. So he can get his little dosage just right, you know. And he went out, and then the doc came in, and he was all scrubbed up, and he goes, you ready for this? And I said, what do you mean, am I ready? I got the easy part. I was hoping he was ready. And apparently he was, and he said, I'll see you in there. And he took off after the questions, and he made a little mark above the eye. So, you know, I knew I wasn't going to wake up, you know, with a missing kidney or something like that. So he left, and then a couple more nurses came in, and the one nurse had a syringe, and she popped something into that IV. And I said, wow, that's a lot nicer than another prick. And she kind of laughed, and they started to wheel me out into the hallway, and I remember my feet going through the door. that was it. I don't remember anything until they woke me up and told me I could go home. And wow, it must have, probably the stuff that killed Michael Jackson is probably what it was. Let me think of what's been going on in the news. What do I want to rant about? Let's pop over here to the rant camera and I'll come up with something. Yes. Let me think here. President Trump, I guess we'll start there because apparently he's the man that all the Democrats and some of the Republicans love to hate. And yes, that's right. I said hate, and it doesn't matter if he's doing anything good. It doesn't matter if he cures cancer. If Trump cured cancer, everybody on the left would be, oh, that son of a bitch cured cancer and stole all that money away from the healthcare people. I'm sure that's what they'd say. He appointed another Supreme Court justice, and I knew immediately, and there was actually talk, I think I heard with my, as much as I could hear with my face in a pillow, that they were expecting a lot of conservatives to be against this guy that Trump was gonna nominate. And I'm not sure if it's conservatives or if it's liberals who are against this guy now, but apparently, like within minutes of this guy being announced, there were protests and hundreds of people gathered. And I mean, how does crap like that happen so fast? That's what I want to know. You got nothing better to do with your life than wait around for the president to do something stupid so you can go out and scream and yell and wave your arms in the streets. The simple fact is, the left, while screaming that conservatives are the problem and Trump is filling the world with hate, the the liberals are the ones that are filled with hate because they hate Trump. They hate Trump. You can believe me. You ask a liberal what their dream of the future is, and they would say peace on earth. And you say, how do you feel about Donald Trump? I hate him. That's hate. And that's why I believe that everybody should be honest and be able to face that. There are things that I hate. But you know something? I am big enough to stand up and say, yes, I hate that. There are some people I hate. I hate politicians. That's why I voted for Trump, because he was not a politician. He was a businessman. He does not know politics. He knows business. He does not know sweet-talking, political, correct, argumenting, debating. He knows in the trenches negotiations from business. And to me, I think that's what this country needs. This country needs to be a business and realize you can't overspend what you take in. And you can't give everything to everybody. People have to start doing for themselves. That's the way our forefathers, when they came over here, to get away from government telling them how to live their lives. They came over here. They were, I think, for the most part, trying to be a self-sustainable nation. Because remember, everything that came from England back in those early days had a tax attached to it, a tariff, if you will. See, none of this is new stuff, people. This is back to the dawn of when somebody first said, you know, 2 goats and a chicken for your horse. It's the art of people being better than each other. Yeah. So, you know, none of it is new. These immigration laws and ICE is nothing new. We've had immigration laws since way back. Have any of you not seen Gangs of New York? That was a story of immigrants. And if you notice, immigrants would come to this country and they would move into, you know, if German people came to this country, they would go live with the German people. The Italians would live with the Italian people. The Polish would live with the Polish people. Why? Because people want to be around people that are like themselves. Yeah. It's human nature. Your liberals think that we can control human nature. We can't. We can't control the animal nature. Nature. You know? The lion's still going to eat the gazelle. But nobody's upset at the lion. Poor little gazelle. Poor little bunny rabbit that gets scooped up by the eagle and taken off and eaten somewhere. Hopping along, minding his own business. And remember, humans are the only species on this planet that has any concept of death. That cute little bunny that just got snatched by the eagle I just told you about that I made up for this show, he didn't know he was going to die. He had no clue. A dog. I don't think dogs, I mean, you take a dog to the vet to be put down. Do you ever wonder, geez, I wonder if my dog thinks, you know, realizes that I'm going to have him killed. That I'm going to be a dog murderer. And he's on the receiving end. Or she. No, they probably don't, because animals don't have that. They don't have that consciousness to know about death. You know? And to realize, oh, geez, I wish I, you know, as an animal lays dying, you know, he's not thinking, oh, geez, I'm going to, you know, I've got this to do and that to do and this to do, you know? No. It's part of life. You know? I'm sorry about throwing some reality down on you people, but my God, you're all living in a fantasy world. Because you can, for one thing, you can't stand to face your mortality. And for two, you've got to have somebody that's less than you to make you feel good about yourself. Think about that now. Why is it that your self-esteem rests on the fact that somebody is less than you? Is that right? I don't think it should be. But if you get, if you get a promotion at work and you were up against 3 or 4 other guys, first thing that goes through your head, and don't tell me that it doesn't, is I'm better than those guys. I got the promotion. They didn't. I'm better. Equal. What happened to equal? No, you're better because you got the promotion and they didn't. Yeah. I don't know. Look, I didn't make up all this stuff. I'm just living my life, trying to get from A to B. And A being the date that I was born, 1961, and B being the date that I will die, I'm in that dash. Look at a gravestone. Look at every single date on every single gravestone and you'll notice one thing. Everybody's dash is the same. That dash represents their life. And on a tombstone, everybody's dash is the same. Maybe not now, because a lot of you are going to go, I'm going to get a long dash, it doesn't mean nothing. Doesn't mean nothing. Oh, man, I hate talking about this stuff. But somebody's got to say it. We have to realize the best thing that we can do for this world is to try and be nice to people. Don't ever judge anybody, because who are you to judge? Your judgments are based on your life experiences and your education and what you've seen in your life. And they may be totally 180 degrees different from somebody who grew up someplace else and was raised a different way and had a different education. So again, don't judge people. If you treat everybody exactly the same, regardless of their political affiliation, regardless of anything, what they look like. When I grew up in school, it was what you looked like. It was how you were dressed was one of the biggest things. And I'm sure that's the same way today. Again, you got your kids in your $100 jeans, your Calvin Klein or whatever the new fashion designers are, somebody in the most latest fashions, and then you got somebody like me who wore Sears Tough Skins, I couldn't afford, Levi's. My family couldn't afford to buy me Levi's when I was in school. I wore Sears Tough Skins, and guess what? I wasn't like the rest of them. I was less. They were all better because they had Levi's. And I'm sure it's the same kind of crap goes on today. And it shouldn't. Don't judge. And by all means, if you feel strongly about the homeless, about the less fortunate, get out there and talk to them. Bring them into your home for a meal. Bring a homeless person, let a homeless person come and take a shower. But don't just give it lip service. And so many of us today are so easy to pass everything off as lip service. Well, we say we're outraged, so that means we're outraged. We'll march in the streets because we're outraged against homeless people. We won't invite them into our house, but we'll march in the streets for them. You know, that's not right. Words don't mean anything unless they're followed by action. Yeah, yeah. Hey, I got some good news, and I'm just under 2 minutes now left to go. To get away from all the rants, all the horrible talk, let me tell you what I'm working on. Yesterday, while I was off at my doctor's appointment, Counselor Tom Powers came by the house and left me with a big old stack of ICAS manuals and research material. ICS being the International Council of Air Shows. Because in my new position on the Airport Marketing Committee, that's something we're going to work towards. And, you know, let me know. What do you think of an air show? Maybe, see, it's 2018. I would love to be able to say, can we get a 2020 air show? It's going to mean a lot of work in a short amount of time, but maybe a 2020 air show. 2020 Keen Air Show. What are your thoughts? Do you like it? Do you not like it? I've got other ideas crawling around in here for different events to market the airport as well. Possibly a balloon fest. Maybe a aviation job expo kind of a thing with different fields in the aviation industry and with displays and stuff talking about their careers in those fields. Something, but I'm going to be hard at work. So let's go back to this other camera. We're running down on time. And set up my credits because now it's probably too late. And they're going to sit here and spin and spin and spin, but that's all right. I'll just talk until I see the little blip pop up over here on the screen, and we'll be a few seconds over the mark, I think. And that's about it. I see that my credits are ready. So until next time, I'm Rick Blood. This is Unfiltered. Peace.